May this season reflect the very best of what it means to be a caring community. We also give thanks for the excitement and the hope surrounding the groundbreaking of our Phase 2 expansion project earlier today. We pray for all who have planned and decided and prepared, for those who will build, guide, and oversee, and for the future residents and caregivers whose lives will be enriched by this growth. So grant wisdom, safety, and unity as this work moves forward. And now bless this meeting, guide our conversation, help us to address everything that needs to be covered, and give clarity as questions are asked and answered. May our time together strengthen not only our understanding, but also our shared commitment to the well-being of this community that we are privileged to call home. So in gratitude and in hope we pray. Amen.
Good afternoon. So I want to take the time to introduce the two physicians that are going to come over and introduce themselves just in a second. But first, I want to talk about the relationship that we have with Prisma. So if you're not aware, Rolling Green does partner with Prisma Health, specifically their Centers for Success in Aging. This is across the entire continuum. So if you see Asha in the clinic, if you have a resident or know of a family member or know of another resident that sees one of the providers in the higher levels of care, that's also a part of this team. If you've been in rehab and you've ever seen Stormy or Dr. Cartledge, they're a huge part of this team, and I will say that it's such a big part of the clinical aspect at Rolling Green. It is not something that's offered at every community. It does give us a leg up if you need your med list reviewed or you have an acute concern. Shannon helps to get you in to see one of those providers. And it really does help us with the continuum and the continuity of flow with residents. So I'm going to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves and what they offer to Prisma and what they can offer for Rolling Green. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Alexandra Rice, Dr. Alexandra Rice. I am originally from Columbia, South Carolina. I did my med school down at MUSC, my family medicine residency at Duke, and then I just finished my training earlier this year with a geriatrics fellowship at UNC in Chapel Hill. So I'm very happy to be back in my home state. My dad's whole side of the family is from the Lawrence County area, a little town called Waterloo, if any of y'all are familiar. So that's all my home folk. So very nice to be with you. And I'll be in the clinic mainly covering for Asha when she's out. So that's just Tuesdays and Fridays presently.
Thank you, Dr. Rice. My name is Dr. Laurie Terrio. I have had the honor of serving as the medical director here at Rolling Green Village for, we'll just say several years, so none of us have to admit how long we've been here. It's been truly an honor to help just with the partnership that Prisma Health does have with Rolling Green. And Grace is absolutely right. What we have here is an incredible partnership to really help bring whatever medical needs that you have for whatever level of care you need from Rolling Green, that we try to meet you where you are and provide as much of that support in-house, so you don't have to leave when you don't feel well. We kind of try to come to you. So as Dr. Rice mentioned, she will be kind of filling in when Asha's not here, assuming she is available, because if they go on vacation together, then I guess someone else will have to be here. But in general, filling in for Asha, but then also having at least a half day to a full day every month, to where if you're thinking, I would really like to establish with Dr. Rice and have that ongoing relationship, she will be here on a long-term basis in addition to filling in when Asha is out. So that's kind of our current plan. Any questions for us? Questions about the clinic, the services we provide, anything at all?
No, we're glad
All
you're
right.
here.
All right. Well, we'll see you in the clinic then. All right. Have about words. Happy holidays, everyone.
Good afternoon. Today was very busy, and a few weeks ago we were very busy with the chapel. I just want to say thank you again to everybody up today while I was at the groundbreaking, so that was really good. We still have some issues with the Wi-Fi and the sound system, but we are diligently working on those, and we'll keep you informed. I want to take just a few minutes, and I want to show you the chapel and the garden, as you may not have seen it.
Oh.
Too bad I didn't have music for that. I just want to say thank you to Carrie Clark. She's our purchasing coordinator and medical records staff member in the licensed area. And those photos were taken around 5 a.m. I don't know what time that is. Does anybody else? Rolling Green owes about $300,000 towards the chapel. And an anonymous donor has come forward and with a match gift. And so he wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted to make a donation to the chapel and be a part of this first project that's ever happened on Rolling Green property to have an opportunity to do that. So you have until December 31st to make a contribution. And right now we're about, I think I've taken in over the last week about $1,500 with that. And there's some forms on the piano if you want one to do that with. And also remember that to receive any tax credit as allowed by law, you need to make a donation to Rolling Green Village if you so desire by December 31st of this year. Are there any questions? Yes.
Comment, if you haven't gone by at night, go look at night at that water feature.
Yes.
With the lights on it, it's spectacular.
Now, unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait till spring. But you're welcome to go in spring to see the water feature. The water feature, it's really pretty, but it's a little complicated. We have to drain it out all the way into the basement of a section of this building. And so, because the temperature was starting to drop, Skip and maintenance decided it was better not to take a chance and damage the motor the first year we had it, especially. And at least get through the first year of warranty if we can. So we will be turning it back on in the spring. But it is beautiful at night with that. And we've also had some children that enjoyed it over Thanksgiving playing in it. So not literally in it, but touching the water drops. Any other questions? Thank you.
I am not Amy. I cannot do what Amy does on a daily basis. But I'm going to give a little bit of an update on the licensed areas. I'm going to start with census. Our census is still holding strong. Assisted living is at 100% occupancy with a long wait list. I reviewed that yesterday. There's about 20 residents between independent living and then also external people who are on that list. Obviously, our independent living residents come first through that. And then memory care Evergreen Place is at 95%, so still holding strong. In the health center, we're at 93% occupancy today. And I want to talk a little bit about the health center. So this year we really focused on renovating and updating our memory care Evergreen Place area. And if you've walked through the health center, we have had a renovation done, hard to believe, in 2012. It still feels very new and very up to date in that area, but our health center, long-term care area, has not been updated in a little while. So we are going to focus on that in 2026. We are currently working through design planning and figuring out what what we want out of that renovation. When we invest into a space, we want to sit down and figure out, are we utilizing it the best way, or do we need to change the way some spaces are structured or used? So we're working through that. So we are excited that hopefully that will be completely executed in 2026. We all know how construction goes. It may go into 27, fingers crossed it won't. But in 2026, that will be our main goal, and we're very, very excited about that. And then I do want to say a thank you to some of our residents. So in the month of November, the Thursday before Thanksgiving, we always hold a Thanksgiving dinner for our licensed area residents. Those are all the way from assisted living to the health center. And we hosted that this year, again, in the Commons. We had around 180 people attend that event. And it was very, very successful. And one of the reasons it was successful was because we had so many residents help to volunteer through that. So if you were a part of that, we truly do thank you for being a part of that. It's such a special event. When I was walking through and helping get residents to and from, they were so excited. They were excited about it all day long. They thought they were going to dinner and getting dressed up and putting on their best clothes and face full of makeup, curling their hair, like just the best thing to walk through and experience. So it was a great event, and we'll continue to do that. That was the 15th year that we've completed that. So we want to continue to do that each year from here on out. Does anyone have any questions for me? If not, I will pass it over to the next person. Thank you. Good afternoon. I didn't have time to write my stuff down, so I have it on my phone. I hope it stays with me. Is everybody finding enough to do this holiday season? There's a lot going on, so I think we're all a little bit tired. But tomorrow night is our Christmas dinner and a show. It is one of our big events that we hold every year. That's what I've been decorating for. I'm covered in glitter right now, so I probably will be for the next month. But anyway, if you haven't signed up for that and you would like to come, please do so. It's a free event. It starts at 5 o'clock. We're going to have a free meal. It's a buffet of heavy hors d'oeuvres. And if you think heavy hors d'oeuvres is not a meal, you haven't had it at Rolling Green Village, because heavy hors d'oeuvres here is a meal. And it's really good, things that you don't normally get throughout the year. And then we have our band coming. It's Adagio 345. It's an instrumental band. They're really good. You've heard them before. They were here for Valentine's Day. We will have a space for people to dance if they would like. So please try to come if you can. It'll be a fun event. Something that was left off the schedule, if you can imagine. Tomorrow at 2:30 in here, First Presbyterian School is coming to sing. It's the elementary school chorus, and they will be coming to perform at 2:30. I'll send a message out on the portal, and I'll also do a one call, but that was left off the calendar. One thing I would like to say is if you can possibly come to these things, especially when it's children. The children like to come at different times of the year, and I know they're not the best performers. They're not professional performers. They may be, especially when they come and play the piano, they may just be pecking on the piano. But it's really important for them to have an audience. So if at all possible, when you see, especially when we have something with children, if you could please come and support them, because it really means a lot to them, okay? So that we have something tomorrow at 2:30. Like I said, I left it off the calendar. We also have a couple events on Saturday, and I know there's a couple on Sunday, but they're not all children. I don't have it in front of me, but anyway, just please try to come, especially for the children. I have talked to several residents about no-shows on the bus and about things that we could do, especially when it's large events, like large bus trips. One resident gave me an idea of doing a one call like I did today, and I just reminded you that Milltown Players is on Saturday, and it's a really big event. There is a wait list, and sometimes people know that they can't go, and for whatever reason they don't bother to cancel. So then you have people on the wait list that could have gone. So I am going to send out a reminder. I'm going to try to do this for most, at least the bigger bus trips,
just to let you know that there is a trip coming up. If you're on it, make sure you show up. If you can't go, take your name off the list, and if you don't show up, then I'm gonna start charging $15. I know that's not a lot still, but we started out for 5, I think we did 5, and we're gonna do 15. And that's just a no-show fee. And I understand things happen, and that's okay. If something happens, extenuating circumstances, let me know. You won't be charged. If something happened and you weren't even here, like you had to go to the ER or something like that, I'm not gonna charge you for that. But just people who just don't cancel and they know that they can't go. It's really for those people. I think that's all. I didn't have a whole lot. Does anybody have any questions? Karen?
Could you review the regulation you worked out for the TVs in the gymnasium?
Review it.
Channels, could you repeat it?
As far as what the policy is?
Yeah, what you all were gonna set the free TVs?
I think, I don't have it in front of me, but I think we decided we were gonna put it on, like a home and garden channel.
Right.
We were gonna put it on a sports channel,
Right.
and I can't remember what the other one. Music, that's right.
Okay, well, that has not been adhered to.
Okay, so what is being shown? Because I haven't been told that was happening.
What has been shown instead is Channel 1 News, thinking it's neutral, but.
Okay, and I think maybe we did talk about allowing Channel 1 News.
No,
It's not.
please don't. News, that's.
Okay, well, that's another discussion. We'll think about that and talk about it and stuff, so, yeah.
I mean, I don't even wanna see the news.
Uh-huh.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
You know.
okay, yes.
When you turn the TV on, it automatically defaults to channel 1 for everybody, I think. So if you don't pay any attention and change it to a different channel, it's just gonna stay there.
Okay, alright, well, we'll review that, look into that. I haven't heard that was happening, but, okay. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, yes, David?
Not a question, but a late-breaking schedule change.
Okay.
We've had the Bob Jones Combined Brass Choir scheduled for Tuesday at 11:30. They had an unexpected conflict arise, and so they'll be coming on this coming Monday at 10:30.
Okay, so if y'all couldn't hear that, Bob Jones Brass Choir was supposed to be here on Tuesday at 11:30, but they had something happen and they can't come that day, which we've already printed the highlights for next week, and it had that day and time. But now they're gonna be coming on Monday at 10:30, so I'll do the same. I'll send a message on the portal and I will do a one call. Okay? Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Can you guys hear me? Trying this little pop here to see if this works. A couple of things wanted to share that's not on my list, but the Prisma Health partnership. It's a really amazing partnership that we have. Prior to that, sometimes we struggled to get a doctor here more than a couple days a week, to get a nurse practitioner here 4 to 5 days a week. But since we've had a partnership with them, they've really done a great job of providing the clinical support that we felt like we needed. Even having a hospitalist back in rehab, that's not something we ever had before. We just had a primary care doctor. So having somebody that's a hospitalist trained physician that focuses on getting you stronger and getting you home, something we had for a number of years, that Prisma has definitely stepped up and helped and been supportive. So that's been a really great thing. We're excited to have Dr. Rice here. Dr. Terrio, I don't know if she mentioned to you, but she's the chief of geriatrics for Prisma Health in the upstate. So she has some great clinical expertise, and we'll often tap her on the shoulder and ask her for some help with some challenging situations that we might have. And she's always got a great perspective. She's always open to helping us out, and she's great to collaborate with. So that's pretty neat to see Dr. Rice come in as another great thing for residents. Monday, in addition to the Bob Jones Choir, Monday at 1:30, want to make sure folks know that we're going to have a drop-in for Bruce Vogelsberg as he finishes out his last week. Bruce, the food and beverage director, dining services. So from 1:30 to 3, it should be in the highlights tomorrow, to make sure you know that you can stop up if you want to thank Bruce and appreciate him, and then also wish him the best. So That's going to happen Monday afternoon. All right, let's go ahead and jump in here. We had a really great month of November. We're seeing great occupancy. By occupancy, I mean not a lot of open apartments, not a lot of open rooms. So I think there's about 97% occupancy in independent living. The reason why there's 3% open, folks could be transitioning away, we could be refurbing a unit. We're supposed to have 2 people move in before Christmas, but they decided to wait until after Christmas. So anything that's potentially open has been spoken for, and it's just a matter of getting it ready and getting those folks in. You know, when folks are told that the unit is ready, they also have to finalize things, selling their home, or just get organized. So we typically like to do that within 60 days, but sometimes things come up. But that helped us to exceed our operating revenues in addition to the great job from the health center and the rehab area. So we exceeded the operating revenues by $162,000. We also did a pretty good job with our operating expenses, keeping them down. So in total, we were able to achieve a net operating income of $488,000. That's the best month we've had, I think, that I can recall in 2.5 years. So that's great. And again, net operating income is revenue minus expenses. We put that money back into the community to continue to operate. So it's a great month of November. I think December will also be a good month. We do sometimes have expenses that come up end of year, but for the most part, we should have another really solid end and another really solid year in 2025. So, move on. So campus improvements. The chapel, Judy just talked about, the furniture came in last week and a little bit more furniture coming in. So that space is really getting close to being finalized. We're just waiting for those, the plaques. The lakeside shoreline stabilization, I was going to ask for Skip to give an update there. So Skip, I don't know if you have anything to share. We're getting close to the end.
Thank you, Ryan. Give you an update of what's going on. The stonework is pretty much completed. Brett right now is hauling dirt along below the wall, going down toward the toward Harkness with the dirt to smooth that road out, and then those bare spots that we've got on the yards and all, we'll be putting topsoil on top of that in preparation. Earth Design has designed some plans.
We'll show those in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ryan will pick up on that. So that's what's going on right now along that wall going down Lakeside toward Harkness. So he's out there busy working right now.
So hopefully it won't be too long before that equipment leaves and we'll no longer be doing any other adjustments to the shoreline. Okay, thank you. So wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit. We did get some feedback from a resident that we failed to put in a accessible ramp, so that was put in last week near the stop sign for Creekside. That was a very good catch by a resident. We're going to wait for warmer temperatures to replace all of the concrete speed bumps at the front entrance and the back entrance. They're starting to deteriorate. We need to wait for the temperature to be a little bit warmer before we can cut those out and mill them out. And then we'll hopefully reduce them from 2 down to 1. But there will still be speed bumps at those back and front gate. And that's also some resident feedback there for a while. Just a reminder of the areas that we've been improving. Keep going forward. So the middle pond plantings, we started on that a little bit before Thanksgiving. Some trees were put in. There's also some beaver guards around the trees, if you saw that, the metal beaver guards. And then we've also added a couple of shrubs. Irrigation has been run across the dam. That's why we shut down the sidewalk for a little bit, because there's irrigation, in-ground irrigation there, so we can keep the plants alive over there. It's not been fully completed, but that will eventually be completed. And there'll be more plantings coming up in the spring. We were intentional with making sure we got the trees in first, and a couple of the shrubs will be coming back in the spring. We're going to continue to improve that space, but we want to at least get it started. We didn't want it to sit there and folks to think what is going to happen here. It's just a plain wall. It doesn't look great, so we wanted to get it started. It's a great time of year to plant trees, and then we will continue to work on it. On the side of the hill, the picture here I wanted to show you, we're going to go with something that's more natural, kind of a meadow look with some wildflowers sprinkled in along the hillside. So instead of planting junipers that are difficult to take out and they don't look great all the time, we're going with Holly's recommendation, Holly with Earth Design, to look at this type of an approach on the hillsides. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a couple seatings before it actually looks more like this, but that's the vision, and I wanted to share that with you of what we're looking to accomplish along that hillside there. You keep moving forward. The other thing that Holly did that Skip was talking about, we wanted to show you, in addition to some of the landscaping, we're also going to be a little bit more stabilization and some other plantings that run along Hoke Smith. So this will highlight that area in yellow. This will show you it's along Hoke Smith heading towards the sidewalk. So this is the new area where the new sidewalk is. So there's going to be areas to be planted, and there will also be some of those items there to be sodded, a little bit of grass along that space to happen in the spring. And then you've got this here. This is along the lakeshore side area where the sidewalk was. These are the back sides of the houses where the retaining wall is installed. We're also going to be putting some plantings in there as well to try to beautify that space. Not right now, but that will eventually happen. We're looking at into the spring. The Village Green Courtyard, wanted to give you an update. That's a pretty big project for us in 2026. We've been meeting with a committee of residents as that comes together, and we're excited. We're getting really close. We've been planning it for quite a while, but we're getting really close. On December 4th, we met the last time with the resident committee, and the last thing we need to do is decide on a contractor, which is between Maven and Clancy, and then we would look to start this February, March. But Holly is also helping us with this, Holly with Earth Design. She's indicating the permitting, everything looks squared away, that we'll continue to move forward, and we could get started end of February, beginning of March. As we get closer to that, we'll spend some time, I think we'll invite Holly to come out to talk to you all, because it's going to mean taking out all the sidewalks there. It's going to mean that space is not going to be allowed for residents for a period of time, because it's going to they're going to fix drainage, they're going to replace sidewalks. There's going to be a good amount of work that's going to be done in there. It's going to be kind of like a small construction site. So just so you're aware, that's what's going to start February, March in that space. It's a really great investment though. It's a beautiful space that is that we believe can have a lot more enjoyment for folks. So we've been planning it. We feel very strongly that that it's going to be a really great investment. So we're going to start February, March of 2026. Weather permitting, maybe by September, October, it could be done, weather permitting. So that'll be really, really great to see. So phase 2 project, I've gotten a good amount of feedback from residents. So I wanted to talk again and continue to revisit on it. We did hold a phase 2 town hall in November, where myself and the folks from LCS Development, Lucas, and also the Clancy and Phase team were here, and we presented 2 different times. But I recognize not everybody showed up to that, and maybe there weren't as many questions. So I want to kind of refresh on some of those things today and remind folks that the plans are out on the portal. And if they have any questions, individual questions about these, we can visit with them one-on-one and can kind of give you a feel for what to expect. We're continuing to be extremely grateful. We've got 94 sales deposits since July of last year, 94 out of 116. So we did lose one, but that's because somebody decided to purchase a patio home instead. So if we've lost someone, it's because they want to get in sooner, which is a great problem to have. We have lost, a couple folks due to some health issues, and one person decided to move to a different part of the country to be close to family. But for the most part, these folks are excited. They're continuing to be here. They were here earlier today at the groundbreaking, which is great to see. Keep moving along. So I want to remind everyone, we're going to be having construction in 3 different areas. We've got 1, 2, and 3. So the area labeled number 1 is that's where the new apartment's going to be, the G building apartment. That's where we've put up the first round of 6-foot fencing. So that's area 1. Area 2 is across Hoke Smith. That's where there was quite a bit of clearing that's been done by Strange Brothers, the same folks that did the area up here, the middle pond planting, and helped us there. So Strange Brothers is continuing to do the work of grading. There's a significant amount of dirt that's going to be moved from number 1 over to number 2. So there's a lot of dirt. We're actually going to have to go down. There's going to be an underground parking lot for the G building. So all of that dirt and everything is going to move across the street. If you go out and look at number 2 in that space, it's kind of a plateau. It starts off here and then it drops down significantly. So there is going to be a significant amount of traffic moving across. There's going to be a part of Oak Smith that's going to become gravel as the trucks move across back and forth. There's going to be a couple of areas that the fencing is going to have openings to where the trucks can move and continue to move dirt across the street with the goal of trying to level it out more. It's not going to be 100% level, but it's not going to be like this anymore. So I just want to stress that to you all. From 1 to 2 across the street, there's a lot of work that's going to be done. That's one of the reasons why right now we have included the sidewalk in that area to be inside of the fencing, because we're worried about safety. We're worried about residents continuing to walk there and trucks coming and going. So for the outset, to start off, we're going to have it inside the gate. Hopefully once they're able to start to go vertical and they're not doing all the back and forth, then we can open it back up to allow that sidewalk to be open for residents. But to start off with, we're going to keep it inside, focusing on safety. Stress that. We talked about that before. I did get a number of resident questions this week that to know why that was put up, but that's that primary reason why, and I wanted to just further explain that to you here. Again, from 1 to 2 in those spaces. Number 3 is the wellness area. That's where the new assisted living is going to be, and then 3B on this map, that's where Cedars is now, that will eventually be demolished. So at the end of the project, that building's going to go away. Do you want to move forward, please, Lindsay? So this month, they started to put up perimeter fencing around the G building. They're going to expand that more now that we finished the groundbreaking. We asked them to hold off a little bit. But I mentioned that right here. Initially, Hoaxmith, nearest the construction site, will be closed, the sidewalk, but we have a significant amount of dirt and earth to move, and then hopefully once that's closer to finish there, then we can reopen that sidewalk. I don't have a time frame on that yet, but it's all going to be weather dependent. Go to the next one. This kind of shows you the red is where the fencing is. And there are going to be a couple of areas where there is going to be openings for the trucks to come and go. You can see it right here, and you can see it right here. This is Hoke Smith Boulevard, so we're staying inside of Hoke Smith. This is that G building there. It connects over by the pool table up at the Commons. But there will be some additional parking in front of the G building, which will be for visitors or for some other folks. But we did not want to move Hoke Smith Boulevard as we did a lot of the significant planning. They felt it was important to keep it intact the way that it is. That's why we chose to go underground with the underground parking, because we did not have enough surface area to create on-ground parking. So that's why it's underground in this instance.
Does that show the connection to the pool room and the common?
Yeah, it's right here. This is where it's going to be connected, right by the pool table. There'll be one floor, just a first floor connector right there. But this building is going to be 4 floors, just so you're aware. So it's going to be one of the higher buildings that we have. Moving to the next. So the other area, the wellness center, is where there's going to be the other most amount of disruption for current residents. I did hear this morning they're going to wait and put up the fencing until January 5th. So initially we thought it was going to be December 22nd. They bumped it a little bit, so we're not going to put up that fencing until January 5th. There is going to be some work that's done out there. They're continuing to investigate. All of the utilities are under the concrete. Can we move to the next? This will kind of give you a feel for where that fencing is going to be back there. We talked about all of this parking is going to go away. There will be a shuttle area that we're going to, we do have a shuttle that's going to be allowing folks to come in there. Rolling Green Village will provide that shuttle, and we actually were able to hire a person that's currently here to do that. So I'm glad to say it'll be an internal person who knows us very well. It's going to help us with that shuttle. But that's where that fencing is going to look, the green area being the fencing. Near the mural, the red area will still be open, so if folks walk along that mural area, that will still be open throughout construction. But that green area here is where the fencing is. The other piece I want to talk about is that these dumpsters here, this is going to continue to be open for the dumpsters, but the dumpsters are going to move back over here. We talked about that as well. I had a resident question this week, why are you moving the dumpsters? Well, we can't keep them back here, but they're gonna move back over here by EP Rehab, which is closer to the hillside entrance. But for now, they're gonna allow this to have open, so before we build this new area where the dumpsters are gonna go, eventually this will get fully enclosed and won't be open, but they have to wait till about February, which is when that area will be created to allow us to move the dumpsters back here. So you wouldn't mind going forward? So this will again show you the red is where the fencing is gonna be. That will enclose the assisted living building. Keep moving forward. And this is kind of a neat overlay which will show you what it looks like. So this is the current state with the future state. You can see how the assisted living is gonna come into this space. You can see additional parking here is gonna be kind of come more like a right angle. And then up here in this corner you can see where those new dumpsters are gonna go back here. We talked a lot about dumpsters. There's no great place to put a dumpster. You don't want it too far, you don't want it right next to the building. You know, it was in a great spot where it is now, but you know, as we looked at it, there was just no other great location for it. But this does allow better access for all the staff over here. It also allows residents to continue to come in and utilize the recycling bin that's there as well. And then also for deliveries, because with the assisted living coming in, all of our deliveries used to come in this door downstairs. Now with the building there, you can't get a tractor trailer in there. So we had to create another space that also made sense for medical supplies, for food and all that stuff to come back there.
Can you point out
So
the wellness center right now?
the wellness center, I'm sorry, is right here. It's right here. So the wellness center is right on this corner. This is where the new building is gonna come out. There's also going to be, we talked about additional parking up here in February. There'll be 10 additional spots outside of rehab, which will help because that parking lot is often pretty packed. The dumpsters, this is gonna happen at the same time, done by the end of February. The other thing for you to be aware of is that there'll be a new cutout. Once Cedars is gone, the old building, there'll be a new drive from Hoke Smith down the hill by the ambulance entrance that'll take you straight to the front door here. And there'll be additional parking there as well. So that will add additional parking in this space. So this is kind of a neat overlay, you know, with the stenciling being the future state, and then kind of the background, the shaded area being how it currently is structured. Keep moving along. And this kind of highlights more of the dumpster area. This is outside of rehab. Rehab EP entrance. This is the rehab parking lot here. And then there'll be those additional spots on the road. And then this is where the concrete new driveway is gonna be created to allow the trucks to come in a couple times a week. And then also for residents to access those two dumpsters that are there. We also are probably gonna be replacing the generator that's in this space, and it might end up a little bit closer to the road. One good thing about this is that it kind of goes down a little bit, so you're not gonna be able to see it as much from the road. It goes down a little bit. We will put up a little bit of landscaping as well to try to hide some of that. You know, it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna get started on that, and you'll see them working on that right now. That's why there's some fencing out there right now in that space. They also hit an irrigation line this week. So I had a resident ask me, why is there a truck that's parked there? Well, the construction team hit a 2-inch irrigation line, and there's water spewing everywhere. So he parked quickly to try to remedy that. But we are gonna make sure, just let us know, we wanna make sure that road is not significantly hampered as we move forward with this. Again, this is Hoke Smith. You wanna keep moving along? We're gonna reset with the town halls like we've been doing. It's gonna be quarterly. So as we get started with phase 2, we'll have quarterly opportunities to visit with the development team, with the contractors. We'll keep you informed. They'll be written. There will also eventually be a camera that will be up so you can see virtual how things are going. We'll be posting that information to the portal. There'll also be some other routine updates that they'll send us that we'll share with you all as far as what to expect. So keep going. Wanted to share this with you. It's kind of neat. If you wouldn't mind clicking, Lindsay. We were recognized within the last couple of weeks by Newsweek as one of the best CCRCs across the country. So there was 30 there was 38 communities within LCS that were recognized. And this is through different feedback that's received from quality measures from the nursing home side, but also from resident satisfaction surveys, and some other reviews. So it's kind of neat that we were recognized. That's the first time that I can recall that we were recognized as the best CCRC. We talked about last time we were recognized by U.S. News and World Report for the short-term rehab area. So that's a really good thing. You able to pull it up? Okay. I'm almost done. I'm trying to run through this quickly. Give you folks a chance to ask some questions. So this is just a copy of the link. We'll be promoting this eventually on the website, but if you scroll down a little bit, you can get the listings. So there's 140 communities within LCS, so only 38 achieved this. So this is all throughout the country. So it's neat to see. If you want to scroll up a little bit, right here, so it says Newsweek and Statista. Statista calculate the annual rankings based upon national online surveys of medical professionals, residents, and acquaintances of residents living in CCRCs, as well as accreditation data.
Number 32 in the nation.
So, well, it's just they just listed us that way. It's alphabetical. There's like a number. We're just included. So that's pretty neat. It's pretty great to see. Yeah. And then the last slide is just, saying overall thank you for the amazing generosity of the residents for the staff appreciation fund. I think it was about $230,000 that was donated, which is just really special. So $230,000. So that just breaks records, yeah. So that's so tomorrow is the staff Christmas party, which will be really neat. So some of the frontline staff members will get a $1,300 check. So full-time people that worked, 20/80 will get a $1,300 check. Any questions folks have? Who has the first question?
Ryan, would you go into more detail about the shuttle for those of us who drive currently to the Wellness Center? When will that begin? How will we access it? Where will it be running from, and how often?
Yeah, we're gonna run the shuttle from start off with 8 to 12, and it'll adjust. We felt like from collaboration with Amy and from Emily, with the amount of classes and some of the activity that we have down there. So from 8 to 12 Monday through Friday, again, to start off. It can be picked up at either the Commons, the Village Center, or at the rehab entrance. And that person will drive you around, and it'll be kind of a circle route, a circuitous route on a regular basis. So you may be dropped off, and then she's going to go back and pick folks up, take them back. But again, you can still walk through the building, but we felt like we need to provide an option for folks that typically would come up and park. So we would provide that shuttle as an option. So you can park at the Commons and pick it up, you can park at the Village Center and pick it up, or you can park at the EP Rehab entrance and pick it up. If you park at the EP Rehab entrance, it's probably the closest where you could walk in downstairs. But that's how we're going to start off with. We've never done it before, but we want to start off, so that will be beginning January 5th. And then we'll see, how it works, how it happens. There was some discussion, how do we make sure folks that needing therapy, that can't get out of a car, can be seen. So we talked with Jim, the therapy director, and he's indicating a lot of folks that can't get in and out of a car, they're going to their homes already to provide therapy. But there is a criteria he's going to create to say, yes, we can go pick this person up if we need to and bring them up. So we could go to someone's home. That's on a very limited basis for a very limited time. So we're not going to do that for everyone, but if a certain person meets the criteria and Jim says, yes, this person should get that extra level of service, then we would be open to doing that to make sure they can come down for those therapy sessions with the team. So that's how it's going to start off. Like I said, we've never done it before. It's going to continue to evolve, and we just appreciate your flexibility and understanding. We want it to work. We wanted to make it a little bit easier because we know it's not ideal to have all that parking go away. Who has the next question?
I just wanted to verify that the drawings that you were showing before with the sketch on top of the,
Yeah, if you want to
is
go back.
that available? You said some drawings are available on the portal.
Yeah, all of this is available, yes.
Okay.
Sometimes people can't make sense of it, so I'm happy to sit down with you to kind of orient you. But I do think this is from our civil engineer. I think this is a really good, give you a really good feel for what it's gonna look like when it's done. So yeah, if you can't find it on the portal, you can come to the front desk, we can print a copy off for you. But that's what it's gonna look like when it's all done in that area.
Okay,
So
thanks.
I think it's a pretty good overlay. Next question.
Hey, Ryan. Early slide where you showed that the revenue against expenses, that we had a fantastic positive variance. That money goes back into Rolling Green Village. Do you have a wish list of projects that goes towards?
So we have a capital expenditure budget that we plan for, and there are a lot of projects that we have undertaken in the last year. So this last year, the board gave us approval to go above and beyond that. It's typically 1.75 million. So we did go above and beyond that to make sure we could accomplish a lot of the things that we've done this year, from the elevator to the port to the decks that we put in, to some of this work out here around the lake. But yeah, we always have, there's all kinds of things that we're trying to accomplish. So yes, we do have a wish list. I think the big things for 26, the Village Green Courtyard, which is about a $400,000 project. We're gonna do another elevator, which is the AB elevator. We also need to redo the parking lot outside of D&E. That's a big project as well that we need to execute on next year. And then Anna Grace talked about the House Center, of redoing the floors and the paint and maybe some cabinetry. It's kind of more of a interior facelift versus a big construction change. But that's gonna be, a few $100,000 as well, as we look to modernize that space and make sure we stay relevant. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that we have, hopefully that we can execute. We're grateful we've been able to execute quite a bit this year. The chapel, another thing that we were able to do this year as well. So yes, those funds are helping us to ensure that we can keep having the cash that we need available to do those projects moving forward. We talked about before, we're not just gonna sit back and wait for the phase 2 to happen. We're gonna continue to focus on improving life for you all today. So we do have another bus that's gonna come in early 2026, so that'll be the third small bus. We purchased one this year. So continuing to do those things to reinvest that you all can feel and experience today. Next question.
I should maybe ask this question of the pastor or Judy, but there was mention of the sound system, and how do you all expect that to be used? I'm still not certain on how we're expected to be using the chapel space.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys wanna answer that?
There will be regular music playing
I see.
in there.
I see.
Similar to the dining room, but not on that station. It's
Okay,
in the
got it.
So kinda like a Pandora music, so background music that'll be playing.
Thank you.
I know Judy talked about getting the harpists, some of her music, and playing that, because we thought that was a really neat touch. So I think that's something where we might be able to incorporate as well. But yeah, there's a few issues there with the Wi-Fi and that technology. Other questions? We had a great showing at the groundbreaking earlier today for folks that were able to attend. Lexi and David and the sales and marketing team did a great job. You never know, like we have 700 people here. How big should the tent be? What's the weather gonna be? What kind of food do you need? What other things? So they really did a great job. Other than the microphone, that was the one thing, which David, thankfully, actually Bruce ran down. I don't know if you guys saw that. Bruce Vogelsberg, who's not supposed to be here today, but he showed up. He took the day off, but he showed up. He came down, he ran down and picked it up out of David's office and brought it up. The karaoke machine that he kind of wheels around. But there was some issue with like the Bluetooth or some issue with the speaker, and they swear to me they tested it before, but as soon as we got up there, it wouldn't work. So outside of that one thing, I think it went really, really well. It was close to 200 people there, and it was a really neat opportunity. You could just see some of the excitement, and it was great to have board members there, and some folks that are truly excited to move here and be a part of our community. Next question? Yes.
Ryan, we have a lot of very talented artists here at Rolling Green whose work is displayed outside of the art room, but it is never seen unless you are walkers and walk down that way. Is there any way that their art could be featured somewhere in the Commons area or somewhere where all of the residents here could enjoy it? It's excellent.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So I'd like to visit with Lexi about that and kind of get some ideas and what we could do. Because I'm amazed. I walk down there quite a bit to see the folks in HR and accounting, and I stop sometimes. I'm like, wow, I mean, look at that. That's really, really pretty neat. So yeah, I think there might be some ways that we can look at that, and it can be a little bit more present. So, other questions? While Skip's walking over, one of the other things for phase 2 that Lexi and I are thinking through is creating kind of a space where y'all can see more of these maps, and maybe you can post some questions that you have up in the Commons. So it's not quite come together yet, but we're working on that to where it can be a space that you come and look and then see some things and maybe have an opportunity to ask some questions. So, all right, now Pat told me she wasn't going to cause any problems today. And she's got the mic now, so she told me beforehand. So go ahead, Pat.
Got your shield on?
Did you say? You told me that though, right?
No, I know.
What did you say? I may not have said it correctly.
This is a very simple question, I think. You mentioned that when you have excess funds, that you have a wish list of projects that you would like to accomplish. And so is there any kind of mechanism, formal mechanism in place by which residents could offer suggestions? Something came up about artwork display and other things. So if residents have an idea about projects for you, are you accepting the...
So, I really do think the resident committees are the ways that you can create that voice. Amen. I can talk about a lot of the things that we do. The Hoke Smith sidewalk is a resident recommendation. The pickleball course is a resident recommendation. A lot of the things that we are doing, the additional bus is a resident recommendation. So there may not be a direct line to that, but through these committees, we want you to get involved. They're not super, they're not super taxing, but you have increased voice to help us understand what are the needs and the things that you all are seeing. What would you like to see? Another resident voice, is we'd love to have a putting green. We're going to try to execute that coming up. So you guys are, I like to listen to themes and to trends, not just a one-off. But if there's enough of that, enough of that discussion, these things will happen. The other thing is they may not happen overnight like you all want sometimes, but they will happen. We talked about pickleball courts for years, and they did finally happen. We talked about fixing the sidewalk up there for a couple of years. It has happened. The Village Green courtyard with the arbor that's swaying, it's still swaying, but we do have a plan, and starting in February, March, it's going to happen. So these are things that residents are coming up with. It's not what Ryan thinks would be fun. It's not necessarily what Skip thinks would be fun. But you do have voice in that. So talk to folks that are in these committees, ask to become a part of that committee, but we are engaging and we are, collaborating with residents to make sure that the things that we invest in are what people really want to enjoy. So yeah, I think it's a great point.
And come to the Residents Association meeting to voice your opinions,
Yep.
your ideas, whatever. That's the place to do it.
Yep, the Resident Association meeting as well. We have an apartment cottage council, we have a resident finance committee, we have food and beverage committee or dining services, we've got activities, we've got spiritual life committee. There's all these different committees you can get involved with. Sometimes we'll have a little small resident ad hoc committee. The Middle Pond plantings, there was residents that were in the room that helped us to finalize some of that plan. With the courtyard, the DE courtyard, with the plants, residents gave us voice in picking out what type of trees you'd want to see there. So these things are done in collaboration and partnership with residents. Raise your hand if you want to get involved, come to see me, talk to some of your neighbors, but these things are done in collaboration. Other questions that folks have? Okay, we can finish up for now. 4:10. Thank you all for your time.